I mean, I usually start videos by saying, today is a good day, you guys, because we are in a ... and that's basically how I feel about every single car we drive. And Ryan's E30, one of my favorites, all right? We filmed this car about 1.5 years ago. You guys should definitely go check out that video. It's got almost 200,000 views now, and that is because Ryan's car is dope, okay? It's a turbocharged E30 build. It's got a whole set turbo under the hood. There's meth, there's injectors, bigger injectors in there, and he's done a bunch of stuff to the coil packs, full MSD ignition and everything. I'll let him tell you about all that stuff, but the difference in drivability is absolutely insane. It is night and day from when I drove this car last. Throttle response is off the charts compared to last time. Partial throttle, kind of just like cruising. Very happy to do anything you want to do. And instead of like 4,500 RPM for full boost at like 9 PSI, we're at about 15 PSI now. And it's, you get full boost by like 3,000 RPM, which is awesome. So let's go for a drive, see what Ryan's E30 is all about on this cold December day. That is so awesome. God, I love this car so much. Ryan was telling me also he's trying to tune, do some last minute, no traction. So doing some last minute tuning to basically tune it to where you can get right like that, kind of on the over rev, give it a little bit of gas and get like a nice gurgle sound. So he's to the point where everything else is to his liking. He's like pretty much happy with where it is. It's about 350 wheel horsepower. It's to the point where he's doing little tuning changes like that to really tweak the car and make it his own, which is awesome. Odometer just hit 250,000 kilometers a couple minutes ago as we were doing chase shots. Ryan, what's going on?
Hey man, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
It's been about 1 year now since last time we filmed the car.
Yeah, about 1 year. From the outside, other than the wheels, not much has changed, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's I've added a velocity intake just to get more fresh air to the turbo, just because I was noticing my on data logs the intake air temps were getting hot, so that actually fixed that a lot as well. Yeah, other than the wheels, I did add a trunk spoiler. And I did actually change the rear muffler and exhaust tips as well.
Yeah.
So, but I think the biggest thing is obviously the wheels have changed the look of the car, going from a 15 to a 17-inch wheel. The
first time around was the first time I'd ever driven an E30.
Yeah.
And this is the second time I've ever driven an E30. So it's really, it's a really insane comparison to have.
Yeah, so the first time you drove the car, it was only making about 10 pounds of boost and around 250 at the wheels.
Yeah.
And actually at the time you drove it, I actually had a pretty big exhaust leak before the turbo, so the turbo was really slow to spool. Engine-wise, it's still the same engine, still a 2.5 single cam straight 6. Turbo's the same, exhaust is all the same other than the muffler, but I've added meth injection. Higher wastegate spring. I went from a 10-pound spring to a 13-pound, but I'm also using electronic boost controller.
Yeah.
And I've converted the ignition system to waste spark, so now I have 3 ignition coils versus the 1, and that fixed a lot of my misfire issues under boost. And then I added strut tower bar, polyurethane engine mounts.
Do you want to pop the hood?
Yeah, of course.
Show me a few details here.
I've actually modified the turbine housing on the turbo as well. The first time we drove it, it was a 1.12 AR housing.
Okay.
It's actually half the size now. So I'm sure the turbo spool is at least 1,000 RPMs quicker and sooner.
Dude, at least. Biggest difference that I could feel.
So I noticed, even without increasing the boost pressure when I first did that mod for the exhaust housing, the torque gain down low was substantial, and that made the car a lot more fun to drive because it had that extra torque.
Yeah. Last time we filmed the shifter, the E30 shifter from the factory, it's not that great. But he's done a bunch of changes. He's done a short shifter, changed all the bushings, and it's like night and day. It's crazy good. Yes, this car is a yes in my books. It's nice. Oh my God, that'll never get old. Yeah, it's very fast. Very fast. And not even fast for an E30, it's just fast, period. And this lightweight chassis, this is a cool looking car. One of the best looking cars to come from the 80s, absolutely. It's got a timeless design. I honestly can't believe the big change in throttle response and drivability in general with this car in just a year of further modifications. And nothing too insane, like the turbo isn't any different. It's the same turbo, technically, but it spools up way faster. So the torque down low is monstrous at this point, so it really contributes to the not being able to find traction.
Again, I haven't had it re-dynoed since I've done all the work, and I've been tuning it myself with Megasquirt, my laptop. So right now we're sitting about almost 18 pounds, 17, 18, depending on what gear you're in. And with the meth injection now as well, I can run a lot more spark advance, and the car's probably making to the wheels, I'd say at least 350.
Cool.
So it's definitely a completely different car than it used to be from a year ago. So I've actually changed the shift lever from a Z3 Roadster. It's just got longer pivot point down low, so the shifter is shorter, and then it's got new bushing, so it's nice and tight, so you don't have that slop anymore. I've changed the steering wheel from the MTEC 1 BMW wheel, and it's just got a Nardi suede steering wheel in there now. A little bit smaller diameter, and it's offset, so it's closer to you.
So did E85 ever cross your mind? That's my question.
No, because here we just don't have it readily available. The nice thing with meth is that you don't use it unless you're under boost. So when I would daily drive the car in the summertime, if I'm just cruising around, it doesn't use it. I can just fill it up with pump gas, and when I want the power, the meth comes on. I was able to reduce basically all of my knock I was having and increase the boost and timing and still have no knock. Yeah, I did have the car dynoed once at Racing Breed just to help me get my ignition table sort of initially dialed in for a break-in tune. But since then I've done all my tuning myself, and I've learned a lot actually. It's, you know, tuning your fuel maps and ignition maps, and setting up launch control and making the meth work, and it's a lot of fun. So I've learned a lot over the past couple of years owning this car and tuning a standalone ECU.
This is one of those cars that I will remember for a very long time. Got a fire extinguisher right beside me, just in case. This is so much fun. Thank you, Ryan. Seriously. Yeah, I don't know. It feels stock enough that you're like, oh, okay, I feel safe, kind of, right now. Maybe a little bit. Like, third gear throws you back in your seat. And that's 15 kilometers an hour. Like that. No time at all. This thing is fast. An E30 with this much love put into it, this much time and effort to really tweak the chassis and get as much out of it as possible, demands respect, especially with this kind of coming on. Well, it is a classic, absolutely, but it's kind of coming to its own in terms of like real collectible classic status. Obviously the E30 M3 in particular, but just the E30 chassis in general. Wow, this is one of the greats. This is one of the greats.
And it makes a nice exhaust note and makes a couple bangs and pops too, which
It's
is
unbelievable.
I'm sure you were aware of.
Absolutely. The first time when we were shooting the driving shots and I give it a little throttle blip, it's like gunshot. Like I scared a few people.
Yeah, I think you did. Probably
great.
Probably a couple dogs and horses as well.
Yeah, that's probably why we got the cops called on us.
Oh, that didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, I was gonna say, do you have any other plans? Like, this is a pretty complete build you have here.
I think how I've built it right now is pretty much what I wanted for the car. I've got I've got the wheels I want. I mean, down the road, you know, brakes are obviously expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like for the car's weight, even though it makes a lot of power, the brakes actually still operate well.
They're
They are
pretty good,
they are EBC green stuff pads, so they do have a good bite. Maybe down the road, but right now, it's mostly just a street car, so I'm not pushing the car super hard on the track yet at all. Driveline wise, I did upgrade the clutch because with the new power, you know, I was expecting the stock clutch to slip because at 10 pounds, it was still running the stock clutch. Now,
good.
yeah, now,
nice.
yeah, now it's a aftermarket clutch disc. It's an E34 M5 pressure plate, and then the clutch disc is made by the company UUC, and it's a carbon Kevlar 9-puck disc. So the actual pedal effort is like stock, but it's got a very grabby engagement point.
Yeah.
But you get used to it after a while. So definitely catches you off guard with the amount of power it actually makes now.
Yeah.
For being how light it is, 350 wheel horsepower around there. You know, I said it before, when it was at 250, it felt great.
It did.
But you always want more power when you have a turbo because you can just keep turning it up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I would still consider the ignition table tune pretty conservative, but like it runs great. I've never had an issue, never had a breakdown. It makes crazy power, and it pulls like hell. So.
All right. Well, that's great. Hey, thanks, Ryan, so much for coming out again.
Thank you.
It's not often we get to do like a bring it back and see what the owner's done. So.
Yeah, I was very excited to have this done. So, your channel gave me motivation to keep doing stuff for it, keep you updated. So,
Cool.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a good journey.
That's good.
All
All right,
right,
you guys, if you want to follow Ryan, his Instagram is right here. Go check it out, follow the build, and yeah, have a good drive, man.
Cool. Thanks, dude.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. A little bit frightening, but awesome. If you haven't already, check out the first video we did with Ryan's car, and then you can get a direct comparison of everything he's done to it, which is a lot. He does all the work himself, and this is just one of the coolest builds I think we've had on the channel in a long time. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.